Hello, folks. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your Christian whistleblower, and I'm not usually one to jump on the prevailing themes. I'm not usually one to jump on the bandwagon of what is happening, in modern times, and the latest craze, the latest fluke, the latest thing. But today, we are talking about the Mandela effect, and I don't want to talk about it, but it has become something that is worthy of discussion. As you can see over my left shoulder, the Unindoctrinate Daily, new Unindoctrinate Daily logo. If you haven't been to my website at jeffreydaugherty.com or christianwhistleblower.com, you want to go ahead and take a look over there because we do have some subtle changes, but some changes that are nonetheless, I think, very helpful and make for a much better, um, a much better experience within the jeffreydaugherty.com website. But in looking at the Mandela effect, I don't usually use notes, but I did want to make some notes here because there's some things that I do need to make sure that we do talk about, and some things that I think that we need to make sure that are said. And the Mandela effect, I was very, very dubious of it, very, very cynical of it, and yet I have to realize that there are some striking realities that seem to have been undeniably revealed by the Mandela effect. Things that I know from personal experience and from living that are certainly have been at least seemingly altered. I mean, C3PO or CP30. I wasn't a real Star Wars fan, but I remember the dude CP30, right? But anyway, he did not have a silver leg. The dude was all golden, no doubt about it. And life is like a box of chocolates, without a doubt. And that mirror, mirror on the wall was not magical. So there are some things that show us that something is happening, and it seems like something supernatural is happening. And one of the interesting things about it is only old folks like me, or those few young folks that listen to old folks like me, really understand or realize what's going on. And I've watched probably over 100 Mandela effect videos. I'm going to make some extrapolations from that. I think that's a fairly large sample size. I think it's certainly a sample size that does allow me to empirically draw some empirical conclusions from it. And the thing that strikes me from this, rather good size sample size of videos about the Mandela effect is that sooner or later, all of the videos about the Mandela effect get back to Jesus, plastic Jesus. It, comes down to, this is deception. It's the tribulation. It's the Antichrist. I haven't heard anyone talk about the red heifer yet, but I'm sure the Mandela effect and the red heifer is, oh my goodness, on its way. So I don't like that, because anything that's tied up hand in glove with Pauline Christianity automatically throws up the warning sign for me. And it all goes back to Jesus so many times when they're talking about the Mandela effect. And I ask myself why. And I think that one of the reasons is because there is a lot of evidence here that there is indeed some supernatural event taking place. And when people are confronted with a real, true supernatural event, they have the tendency to run home to mama. In this case, they run home, of course, to Mother Rome. And by running home to Mother Rome, they are running home to plastic Jesus. They're running home to the Bible. They're running home to that which they know and that which makes them comfortable, but that from which they've always sought solace and think they'll gain it again. But that brought up to me a very interesting point and a very interesting question. What if the Mandela effect is an inside job? What if the Mandela effect is an inside job? What do you mean, Jeff? What if Yaldabaoth is changing times to derail and debunk real change? What am I talking about? Well, Yaldabaoth, the Lord, Marduk, Yahweh, Jehovah, he is the cosmic bad guy that's been portraying himself as the cosmic good guy. And you have to go back and look at some of my other videos and work to get that. I don't have time to re-explain it to you from the very top each and every show. But what if Yaldabaoth is changing times and changing things to cover up for the fact that for the first time in 2,000 years, the facts about him are coming out? You got to realize, folks, I know that some people think this sounds self-serving, but it's a sorry dog that won't wag its own tail. For 2,000 years, the message that I bring to you has been dormant. For 2,000 years, the message that I bring to you has been silent. For 2,000 years, the message I bring to you has been, what's that thing they put on the dog's mouth? Muzzled. The last person to preach, teach, share the things that I share would have been the Apostle John, or one of his close compadres that carried on his word after the death of John, who was the last apostle. Of course, my book, The Final Message of the Last Apostle, details a lot of this. But what if Yaldabaoth, what if the Lord is changing things in order to cover up the fact that he has changed things? What if Yaldabaoth, the Lord, is allowing and perpetrating the Mandela effect, because it is for the first time in 2,000 years coming out that he changed the New Testament, that he changed the original message of Yeshua and co-opted it into a guilt and fear-based control matrix that the world is still living under? What if, because now finally the gig is up and he's trying to perpetrate his great false flag, and I think the not too distant future, what if he is perpetrating the Mandela effect? I mean, now, folks, they're saying that the Bible has changed, and if the Bible's changed, then maybe this Daugherty guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The things that he points out aren't really faults within Pauline Christianity. Blame it on the Mandela effect. It's not because the dirty rat bastard Nero, Paul, Yaldabaoth, the Lord, Yahweh, Jehovah are lying rat bastards. No, just blame it on the Mandela effect. Now, you may think, oh, that sounds kind of crazy, and I don't know about that, but let me at least point something out to you before we leave. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, and it reads as such. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you can see it, because I do like to let you know that I am coming to you from the scripture. And it says, let me go ahead and highlight this for you, even though it is blue and the rest of it's black. He will speak out against the Most High. He will wear down the saints of the Highest One, and he will intend to make alterations in times and in law. And they'll be given into his hand for a times, and half a time. Most people think that means 3.5 years. But, you know, focus on the fact here that he will intend to make, come on, work with me now. He will intend to make changes, alterations in times and in law. Again, we're just in the text, this time in the Old Testament. We're going to scooch up here, wanting to go to Daniel 7:25. We're going to pop into, this time, the interlinear, which is going to bring us into Hebrew, right? And he shall, in great swelling words, he'll speak against the saints of the Most High. Remember, Hebrew is right to left. He shall wear out and think to make times and laws, to make times and laws. What does he want to do to them? I haven't looked at this. He wants to attempt to change so as to destroy. Okay, let's highlight this whole thing. This is pretty interesting. This is actually pretty interesting. Look at this. He will attempt to change so as to destroy. He'll put his hand to alter, to destroy. He'll put his hand to change, to destroy. He will make it so that it is changed according to the law, make it so that it will not be changed to the law of Moses. Very, very interesting stuff. That's Daniel 6:8. Not directly talking about this word, but this word, what does this word actually mean? Four occurrences. The word is, you see in red or orange here, change to alter to change, 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 change. So he's changing, he's altering times. Let's see what time says. And I probably should have looked this up before I got on here, but he's changing times. He's changing epochs. He's changing appointed times. He's changing times. Very, very interesting. Now, I always felt that this did apply mainly to the feasts of the Lord, or the Moed talked about in Genesis chapter 2 and 14. And that's, right here it talks about the appointed times, and that may be exactly what he's talking about. In Could be. That's just one explanation. Here's the festival seasons that I was referring to, but it is certainly, here we see it's a season or a time, but it's certainly possible that he's changing time. And I was especially interested in the word there that said changing epochs. He's changing epochs. Very, very interesting. He's changing times. And what do we say about laws? What is that? Laws. Laws. Changing death. Now, if you know anything about Kabbalah, oh my goodness, we may have just opened something that, wow, he's thinking to change death. Death is emerging. Oh boy, I see we got another big broadcast coming. But very, very interesting. He's changing decrees, he's changing laws, and you could say that the Mandela effect is changing the laws of nature, it's changing the laws of physics. But at any rate, the question remains, is the Mandela effect an inside job? And those of you that know anything about Kabbalah have just had your minds blown. And well, we'll get back to it next week, to blowing your minds even more. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your Christian whistleblower, and I'm bringing you peace, I'm bringing you light, and you've got to ask the question now, is the Mandela effect an inside job? Until next week, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your Christian whistleblower, bringing you peace and light, and wishing for you, above all things, indoctrinate yourself.